Welcome to another Treble tutorial video. In this video, I'll talk you through our geometry feedback tool within the Treble plugin for SketchUp. Before I start, I'd like to let you know that the Treble plugin is supported on all versions of SketchUp 2022 and 2023, and on version 21.1.2 of 2021. You can download the plugin from our documentation at docs.treble.tech. You can also find a direct link to our documentation in the description below. With our plugin, you can use the geometry feedback tool to detect and fix any issues that might affect your model preparation. In this video, we will explain the meaning and solution of each error and warning that the feedback tool can show you. Errors are essentially critical problems that will stop you from uploading your model, while warnings are minor issues that you should be aware of. You can upload non-watertight geometries for the geometrical acoustic solver, however these will not work for wave-based simulations. The unexpected tag folder hierarchy. Treble has its own tag folder in which it will pick the entities to include in the analysis. This allows you to easily add and remove entities from the model that you want to analyze without having to remove anything. The first probable cause is that the model is new or newly imported. To fix this, just click on the button Create Treble Folder. Another probable cause is that the geometry tag folder is dragged out. One fix for this is to drag the tag folder geometry back into the tag folder Treble. Empty geometry. This means that no entities could be found in the Treble geometry tag folder. This error is probably showing up because you have a newly imported document. To fix this, you will have to drag the layers that you want to include in the simulation into the Treble geometry tag folder. Geometry not watertight. At the moment, models must have a watertight outer shell in order for Treble wave-based simulations to run. You can upload non-watertight geometries for the geometrical acoustic solver, however these will not work for wave-based simulations. The feedback toggle will show you the open edges that are likely to be holes in your geometry. One probable cause for this is that you have untagged faces. If a surface has not been tagged, it will cause it to be excluded and make the geometry non-watertight. A face having all its edges highlighted in red is most often a symptom of a missing tag in the case of a geometry watertight error. Another probable cause is that you have gaps between faces. Sometimes importing a file into SketchUp can leave a very small gap that is not directly visible in SketchUp. After zooming in enough, the error becomes more obvious. To fix this, you can select one edge and move it above the other to merge them together, or redraw the face without the gap. Now let's look at the possible warning feedbacks. Exclusions. The simulation can only run within the watertight outer shell of the geometry. This is a warning that some of the geometry of the geometry tag folder will not be included in the simulation. The feedback toggle here can show you the faces of the geometry tag folder that will be excluded from the simulation. One of the probable causes for this is that some faces are outside of the outer shell. To fix this, you can remove the layers of the faces that are not meant to be in the simulation from the geometry folder, or move the faces into a different layer. If the faces are meant to be in the simulation, move them inside the outer shell. Another probable cause is that a component is fully overlapping with an outer shell face. If you place a component that exactly overlaps with an outer shell face, it might be excluded. A fix for this is to make a hole for the component in the outer shell face. To do so, you're going to want to right-click on the component, select Intersect Faces with the model, hide the layer in which the component is, delete the new interface matching the component that got created in the outer shell, and finally unhide the component. Short edges. The wave-based simulation speed is inversely related to the size of the smaller element in the geometry. That means that if your geometry has one very small edge, the wave-based simulation will be slow even if you select a low transition frequency. There are small edges in thin objects such as table, chairs, and screens. It is best to replace thin volumes with a flat, open surface. Open surfaces are much faster to process. Boundary mismatch. Our detection algorithm defines the largest watertight volume of the geometry as the outer shell in which the simulation will take place. If the space you want to simulate has a hole and there is an inner volume in it, then this inner volume will be seen as the outer shell for the simulation. This warning will most likely come with the exclusion and open edges warnings too. The probable causes for this is that your geometry is not watertight. The open edges warning appears when the geometry has no watertight outer shell, and some edges are open but are not as isolated as the isolated edges. They will be displayed alongside a geometry watertight error or a boundary mismatch warning. So that's it for our geometry feedback video for SketchUp. I hope you found it useful. If you have any more questions, please feel free to get in contact with us by sending us an email or by using our live chat feature. And of course, you can check out more tutorial videos on our YouTube channel. I'll see you there.